Episode 2 of I'm Just Saying. Today we're going to be talking about confidence. How do we find her? Who is she? Where is she? Especially after you have a baby. Because you know what? Sometimes the confidence just runs out the motherfucking front door. We don't know where she went, but you know what? We are going to find her. It's not impossible. It's just about the way that you think about it. This is what I have decided. There are a lot of ways that you find new confidence that you never had before, but there are a lot of things that just feel alien. Why does this brain work differently? How do I dress myself again? Emotionally, am I okay? It is genuinely a matter of just reality that when you start something new, your confidence is the first thing to go because you don't know what you're doing. You are also developing and evolving into this new person. And as you're working through becoming this new person, a lot of the things that make you feel secure in who you are have left. Your body has changed, your mind has changed, your emotions have changed. It is very, very common. Finding your confidence in between all of those things changing would be a very difficult thing to do. We're gonna talk about all the things that have helped me, all the ways that you can get where you're going, and how to tailor it to your unique needs and what you're trying to accomplish, okay? So here's my deal. You are a blank canvas. We are gonna fill in what is gonna go on that canvas, okay? No was, no should be, no could've. You are not the same person you were in the beginning of 2024. You're not, and that's a beautiful thing. You deserve to change, you deserve to evolve, you deserve to grow, and it's a beautiful thing that you are not the same person that you were at the beginning of this year. It's also okay if you miss parts of that person, but we are gonna figure out ways to tangle it all together. I think one of my biggest issues in my new mom life was this. I had this person who I was, I have this person who I am now, and then there was all this middle stuff where I was like, there are things that I was before that I don't necessarily want. And there are things that I feel like are fundamentally me, but I'm not living into that. And once I got past mourning who I used to be, I started to really latch on to this idea that I needed to assess what parts of myself I missed and would actually be beneficial to this chapter of my life, and then work on weaving that all together with this new version of myself. It meant that things couldn't look the same, they weren't gonna feel the same, they weren't gonna be the same, but I could still possess those qualities in this new chapter of my life. I just had to be a creative thinker to be able to wind them all together and weave it into this person who felt confident and successful and was motivated to be able to have the path forward on this new journey. And something that has always helped me is knowing that you cannot find the way to get somewhere when you don't know the destination. As soon as you know what the destination is, you can create the roadmap to get to that place. And for me, I didn't know the destination for so long. It was just like, I want to feel more confident, but that is so broad and we have to be specific, especially when it comes to our desires and the life that we're trying to create for ourselves, that we have to label it, we have to call it like it is, and we have to see things as very specific milestones that we are trying to reach, because only then can we accomplish them, you know? And confidence looks different for everybody. Confidence feels different for everybody. What you need and you are trying to accomplish to feel confident is also going to look different for every single person. But one thing that I don't believe changes for anybody is the pathway to get there, which is literally consistency. Showing up for yourself every single day. Because if you can be consistent and you can prove to yourself that you can accomplish something, you begin to believe in yourself again. And believing in yourself is the first step to feeling more confident in yourself. Everything starts for me with intention. What are my intentions? Like, we're building, right? We're like building this little house. That's how I see it for myself. Like, I started with absolutely no foundation and I needed to build this house up so that it could be my house of confidence and then I could live in there. But until I began to understand that it just isn't there. It's not there. It doesn't exist. And I actually started to feel like, first I felt depressed by the fact that it just didn't exist. And then I started to feel excited being like, oh, it doesn't exist, which means I can turn it into anything I want. It just takes me setting the proper intentions and being consistent to be able to build this house of confidence that I want to live in, because I want to feel confident. That's genuinely was one of my big desires a few months ago for myself, was like, you got to get it together. And not because I had to, but because I really wanted to. Step one, you're going to own it. Where am I in this journey? Where is my confidence? And where do I need to start building this house from? Step two, where are you trying to build confidence in your life? Once you have these categories of confidence, then you are going to start to label the goals in those categories, right? So maybe some of the goals are reinvent my style, be less tired, eat more healthy, take some time for myself, get a hobby, live more mindfully, whatever it is. Find the goal in each of those categories, okay? And this is where I'm gonna be a little tough on you. I love you, you're capable of it, you can handle this. This is where you need to carve out some time. I know that you don't have a lot of time, but I genuinely believe that if you tracked your day, you know that there are 5 minutes spent doing something that is not benefiting you to the desires that you have, that you can replace with something that is going to be more beneficial for you. I learned this the hard way from myself because I was like, I never have any time. I can't like change anything that I'm doing. I'm so tired. I stay up too late, da 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 da. But the thing is, I would put my kid down for bed every single night and then I would doom scroll for like 3 hours. And then I would be like, now I need some time for myself. And then I would just like lay in bed and watch something, and then I'm up till midnight, 1:30, and then I'm like exhausted the next day. And I was like, okay, you need to change your nighttime routine because a good nighttime routine leads to a good morning routine. And what my main goal was to feel less tired and to be able to get my ass up and go work out. So I needed to change the nighttime routine. And even now when I fall short or I have nights where I do end up just like laying there scrolling, whatever, it always affects me the next day. And I know, at least now I'm like, that was the problem. I am the problem. It is what it is. But the reality is, I am capable of changing it. And this is really the hardest thing because sometimes we're doing these things and these actions out of comfort, but they are not benefiting us. And we have to be a little tough on ourselves to be able to evolve into this better version of ourselves. Start by keeping track of these moments. That's what I started to do. I started to keep track of these moments of like, oh, I just used an hour here or I used 10 minutes here to do this thing that is not actually benefiting my ultimate goal. And this is a time slot that I can change because I felt like, especially at night, there were consistent time slots that I was misusing that were not benefiting me in the best way possible, but leaning into these habits that felt comforting at first, but weren't ultimately the best for me. And so then it came to me this realization that for me to really be able to adopt these new patterns in my life, I needed to become more conscious. I needed to become more conscious of my time, of my energy, what I was spending it on, what I was doing, because the more that I just let myself float by and just do things that in the moment made me feel good, but ultimately were making me feel rotten, I'll say, I realized that I did actually have the control. I just was not using it. And I was kind of just like giving myself that instant satisfaction instead of that long-term sustainable happiness that I was really searching for, which leads to confidence. And there's something that I used to do that I literally abandoned in my new mom life, which is that I would weekly, which I don't do anymore weekly because I don't feel like I actually have the time, but I do it now bi-weekly and definitely monthly, which is I take a 10-story view of my life. And so I think that sometimes, especially when we are stressed, emotions are high, our hormones are all over the place, we're just looking out among the mess. It is so hard to be like, what do I clean up first? But if you take that 10-story view and you start to look down, you can start to categorize like, that's not important, this is urgent, I can change that. And you begin to be able to like realize that you actually have so much more control over your life than you realize that you do. And it is so hard to see it in the moment because kids need so much from you. It is very overwhelming. You are alone a lot of the time with your thoughts, with that kid, with your kids, and it is hard to kind of find that semblance of calm. But in those moments where you are by yourself, that is your most powerful time to be able to step away, look around, assess the day, and see what is happening. You need to find a 5-minute replacement. 5 minutes, okay? What is a 5-minute task that you can do in one of the 5 minutes that you are not using towards your ultimate goal and replace it with a healthy habit? I started to replace my night habits so that it could benefit my morning. It's really that first move. That first move you make is the most frustrating because you're like, I actually don't want to. I don't fucking want to. You know what I want to do? I want to sit down, I want to veg. But in reality, you aren't happy. If that was making you happy, then I love that for you, but it's obviously not. So since it's not, you need to change. And this is where we have to be tough on ourselves. And so I would put him to bed, I would make sure that he was asleep, and then I would go, I would shower, I would do my skincare, and then I would scroll, and then I would do whatever the fuck I wanted. Little by little, it led to me being like, well, no, now I want to do something else. Because once you see the effect of how that actually would calm me down, that would actually make me feel like I was taking care of myself, I didn't necessarily want to go now like zone out on my phone. I was like, now I actually kind of want to like get into bed or write some notes, make some plans for tomorrow, organize my day for tomorrow, take some more time for myself, because now I'm just in my own world, really spending time with myself, really winding down instead of just like, you know what I mean? For you to replace 5 minutes right now that you are not using towards your ultimate goal with 5 minutes that you are going to write down a list. 3 realistic goals that you have for yourself tomorrow. You're going to categorize them most important to least important. You are going to etch them into where you can use 5 minutes more wisely throughout your day. Here's the real tea. When you wake up tomorrow and you start with the most important goal, you cannot stop until it is complete. So if you go the whole day and you don't finish that first goal, the next day when you wake up, you start back at the same one. This technique is actually proven, tried and true. Sometimes we put a lot of things on a list and it becomes unmanageable, and we start a lot of things but we never finish them. So you are going to take that pressure off yourself and you are going to say, this is a goal that is not for the day. This is a goal to be completed. This is a list not for the day. This is a list that is going to continue to be the list until it is completed. So you take that first task. If it takes you 3 days to complete it, if it takes 3 tries to use that 5 minutes wisely, it takes 3 tries. It's all good. And then once you do that, then you start on the second, and so on and so forth, okay? Until you complete all 3. Once you've completed all 3 of those things, then you need to evaluate what actually worked. Was it beneficial? Did it make sense for me? Should I have used those 5 minutes differently? Could I use those 5 minutes differently? Would it be better if I used those 5 minutes differently? What did I like? What didn't I? I liked this goal that I had for myself, but I kind of want to tailor it a little bit differently. And this is something that is not going to take all of your time, but it is a way that you are giving back to yourself with time that you already have, that you weren't using how you wanted to, and now you are more in control. And that feeling of being in control of our life is another part that adds to our confidence. And I think that confidence comes from these 3 categories, really. It is feeling more in control of our life, being consistent, and accomplishing things. And so this technique will help you to be able to do that. You already had the time. You're not using it the way that you want to. We rework how you're using that time, and you have the freedom to be able to try things, see them through, and when they are working or not working, you either choose to carry on with them or let them go and replace them with something else. And it's 3 things. 3 things. Now, what are those 3 things? They need to be realistic, okay? I want a skincare routine. You start with just putting some eye patches on. Just put on some eye patches. Every night you're gonna put on some eye patches. Every night you're gonna put a face mask on. You put your kid down to sleep, immediately go, wash your face, put a face mask on. You have started a skincare routine. 5-minute task, 5 minutes. It cannot be longer than 5 minutes. Maybe it's not just a skincare routine, maybe you wanna do more self-care. So you put that baby down, you put a face mask on, you put whitening strips on, boom, done. You're doing 2 at one time. 2 things at one time. I do that a lot on Sundays. I will do a face mask, I will whiten my teeth, and I will clean the bathroom. Instead of this feeling of like the bathroom's gonna take so long and this and that, and I made a video about this as well. I put on the white strips, I start the timer, I put on the face mask, I clean the bathroom, and then right when when the white strips are ready to come off, I will take them off, jump in the shower, I will wash the face mask off, I'll finish cleaning the shower, and I'll take a full body shower. That's something that I do on Sundays, usually during nap time, because that means that for the week I have done some extra self-care. I've done my everything shower, that's taken care of, and my bathroom is clean. And it's like all of these tasks in a literal 30 to sometimes 40-minute window, which means that hopefully that day, I still have another hour and 20 minutes of nap time to do whatever I want to. The way that I look at it is small steps lead to big steps. And so originally when I started with my 5 minutes, it led me to this way of how I could conceptualize time. So every 5-minute task led to me realizing that if I put a time frame around something and I accomplish things in that time frame, and I just only give myself that time frame, then when that timer is up, I can then move on and do something else. And I'm not stuck just spending hours trying to do one thing or never feeling like I'm accomplishing anything. And this all started like leading to this like Sunday ritual that I have now. That all came about because of just starting with these 5-minute tasks. And it's that building blocks. You're just building and building and building until you start to realize that you do have all of these pockets of time that you can totally rework and make it work for your schedule. And that's the thing. It's gonna look different different for every single one of us. Taking 5 minutes for those eye patches can lead to an entire skincare routine, because if it's just 5 minutes today and it's just 5 minutes for the next 2 weeks, eventually it could be 10 minutes and eventually it can be 15 minutes, and it can be whatever you want it to be within those 15 minutes. But it's starting off with just that little push of that commitment to yourself. Another small step that I also love is if we're looking to be more mindful. I know a lot of us talk about this all the time, like, I want to read more. Here's the thing, realistic goals, 5 pages at night. Just read 5 pages of a book every single night. Turns into 10 pages, turns into 20 pages, turns into 30 pages. If you did 10 pages of a book every single night, in 30 days you have read 300 pages. You know what I mean? So it's like conceptualizing the small goal, realizing that the consistency of that small goal leads to a really big goal. I also think that when we know that we are working towards goals and really trying to accomplish something, and we know that we're taking small steps every single day, even if it's just 5 minutes towards our ultimate goal, it does create for those days that go awry to not feel so stressful and chaotic. And what I mean by that is, say I want to get up really early in the morning and go work out. If my son is up all night, then I know that tomorrow that's just not possible. But I also know that 4 out of these last 5 days, I was able to do that. And so I am working towards that goal. And sometimes that's just life. But I feel like the more that we're consistent and the more that we're realistic, we are able to feel more confident in ourselves because we are actually getting up and doing the hard thing. I want to find my style. Okay, every day you get up, it doesn't matter what you wear. If you get dressed with intention, I am choosing to put on this t-shirt, I am choosing to put on these leggings, and I'm gonna make this very realistic. I wanted to get dressed with intention. That was one of my really big goals for myself this past month. And there are times where I'm getting dressed with jazz. I can't do that whole like Zen thing where I'm just like, okay, now I can just like be with myself. No, no, no. I have to kind of like do it with my kid there. So I'll look at him and I'll say, Mommy's getting dressed right now. Mommy is gonna wear a gray sweatsuit. Do you see this gray sweatsuit? Mommy's choosing to wear this gray sweatsuit. I am choosing to wear this great sweatsuit because today I wanna be comfortable. Today I wanna feel comfortable and I wanna feel confident. I'm still working on my personal style. I'm still reinventing what that looks like, but for the most part, I'm just trying right now to get dressed with intention. This is my choice. I'm choosing it. It's not happening to me. I'm choosing it. And I think it's all about that whole concept of, are we doing things with intention? Knowing that we're choosing it. It's not happening to us. This feeling of being more in control, it all leads to us feeling more confident. And it doesn't have to necessarily, there are some things that are going to be like your 5 minutes, that time that you're not using wisely, that you can replace it with things that are going to benefit your ultimate goal. And there are other things that maybe you start to habit stack and you're like, now I can add this and I can add that maybe you don't have the full time to yourself to be really in the moment, that you then can include your child. And so you're now doing an activity together. And little by little, all of these things start to work together where you start to realize that you have a lot more control over your life. You're getting dressed with intention. You're going to bed with intention. You're waking up in the morning with intention. You're not feeling tired because you took action to wake up earlier. You took action to get a more restful night. You took action to change your nighttime routine, which will alter your daytime routine. You're doing more self-care for yourself because you have budgeted in to time that maybe you weren't using towards self-care when really all along you had the time. And I think that sometimes we get so lost in what could be or what we should be doing instead of just realizing that none of that actually matters. What matters is that you have all the tools to take action right now and you are a blank canvas, and if you don't like the way it looks today, you can change it tomorrow because every single day is a new day. And the more that you take these small steps and the more that these things start to become manageable, the more you can stack good habits on top of each other. And ultimately, you start to feel so free because you realize that life isn't happening to you. You are participating. And I think that that was my biggest sadness in my new mom life, was feeling like there was so much needed of me that life started happening to me. And I just felt so lost in all of it. And I think that that was really a limiting belief that I had built for myself. And I I'm owning that because I know that now that I've started to take control over my time and realize that some things, yes, are completely out of my control and I have to just like audible and do what is needed. But there are a lot of things that actually are in my control. And if I really lean on those times, that I am able to rework my time and replace habits that aren't beneficial to me with ones that are, the times that I cannot do that feel so much more far and few between. And I actually embrace them a lot more and surrender to them because I know that I am doing all of this over here. And this kind of stuff is gonna happen. That's called being a parent, it's called being a mom, it's called life. So life is gonna happen, but if you are 99% of the time really owning and honing in on what you want it to look like and really just, like I said, I keep saying the same thing, but like using that time wisely and purposefully and intentionally, you then are able to find this balance between the chaos and what you desire it all to look like. And in some weird way, it all kind of weaves together. This is hard work. It's really hard work. And I'm not saying that you're doing anything wrong for not tackling that, or for not feeling confident, or for not knowing how to like remanage your time in this new chapter. It is very difficult. But what I do know is your future self is gonna be so freaking grateful because you're doing the hard work that's going to lay a path for this new chapter of your life. And my final 2 tips are to get out of your head, take that 10-story view, observe yourself, and also don't be afraid to ask for help. You do not have to do everything for yourself. You don't have to do everything for everyone. You are allowed to take time for yourself. You are allowed to prioritize yourself. You are allowed to lean into good and happy, healthy patterns for you because it will genuinely make you better for everyone around you. And I'm proud of you. I'm gonna leave you with some affirmations. I decided last time I didn't do this. And back in the day when I used to have my podcast for my life coaching business, I used to always end with affirmations. So I think we should end these with affirmations, kind of in tune with whatever the episode is about. So today's affirmations are: I let go of all things I cannot change and replace them with things that are in my control. I am enough. I'm showing up for me. My success is certain. I am not my fears. I'm never stuck. I deserve new beginnings. I am capable of keeping my promises to myself. Every day is a new day and a new beginning, and I deserve that. Yes! So proud of you. You're a goddess. You're a queen. Don't you ever forget. Don't you ever sleep on yourself. Hope you have an amazing day. Bye!